Now, I think it's pretty safe to say that when we take a very close look at two divisions under Disney's wing that have been struggling for a very long time now, we've got Marvel Studios run by Kevin Feige, and we've got Lucasfilm run by Kathleen Kennedy, alright? So these two individuals have been really improperly handling those two companies, those two studios, so to speak. We've seen what has happened to Marvel Studios, especially with the Marvels, pretty much, serving as opening the worst for the MCU in history, and everything else happening with Lucasfilm under Kathleen Kennedy's wing for the upcoming Rey Star Wars film. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new, and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. So, we know that Shamreen Obaid-Chinoy, after she got fired and removed from a total of 5 Star Wars projects, that dwindles her down to only and strictly working on the Rey movie right now. It's been quite a drama piece happening behind the scenes over at Lucasfilm and Disney, but at the same exact time, we know that Kathleen Kennedy is endlessly defending and going against the fan backlash, defending this Rey Star Wars film, defending everything that Shamreen Obaid-Chinoy is attempting to establish for this movie. Now, we know that this is a big problem because this is all about destroying George Lucas's overall stand for what Star Wars needs to be and what it really is all about philosophically, right? So Kathleen Kennedy is really a force of nature, and so is Kevin Feige. I mean, these are two individuals that do not care about fans nowadays. They do not care about any kind of ramifications. It's all about pushing an agenda, strictly so. Now, moving onwards, with Shamreen Obaid-Chinoy creating endless issues behind the scenes at Lucasfilm, one major development has much to do with Kathleen Kennedy and her stand against the fan backlash over the upcoming Rey Star Wars film. Now, Kennedy went on to deliver the following. I think what's very important and what should be our #1 priority in Star Wars, as far as film and television, are diversity, equity, and inclusion. I would be lying if we at Lucasfilm have not noticed a loud minority that are against all of that and the support surrounding it, and it's only extremely disappointing, but I believe that serves as an illustration of the problems in the world today that need to be solved through great storytellers that support DEI, and that's exactly what we have been doing with our upcoming series, The Acolyte, and our long list of upcoming Star Wars films. I think it was the right move to remove ourselves from the burden of respecting George's vision of what Star Wars needs to be. There shouldn't be any barriers or roadblocks to what a franchise has to do to make loyal fans happy and satisfied. There is always room for evolution with our characters and the environment around them, which is why we here at Lucasfilm believe it was the right move to continue Rey's journey in a new light that Shamreen is completely dedicated to. We have had differences on and off where the story should go, and it's been quite the process, but we are finding ways to cater this film to a whole new demographic. It's very important for us to attract not just men for Star Wars, but it's about time that we focus on the women as well. And what better way to do that than by bringing in female directors, writers, and talents that will be working on these projects for the years to come that will inevitably create a contrast to what George's era of Star Wars stood for. We need more creators like Leslie and like Shamreen that want to promote women both behind the story and in the story itself. And it's truly inspirational to be a part of this and attaching everything to watch everything unfold. You are always going to deal with a loud, biased community in any group that supports your product, and it's something that we have noticed, especially with this brand. It's very important that we remain focused on our goals and what we need to achieve to detach ourselves from what George had established so many years ago to create a new era of Star Wars that can be more relatable to the modern world and for a new generation of fans to be born to enjoy the material that we deliver. It was time to move on from the Skywalkers and that bloodline of characters. I think there is a demand of characters that can be the equivalent of those, like Rey, for example, which is why we have had discussions of quite possibly turning Rey's journey into a full-on new trilogy if things go very well for us. Now guys, let me just, say one thing before I move on about Kathleen Kennedy's stand here. So basically what she's saying is that it's about time that they focus on hiring female directors, writers, and talents, strictly so, moving onwards. And that she feels that, you know, they've pretty much been undervalued. And that's really not the case. I mean, we've had many examples of great and fine female directors and writers throughout all of pop culture, throughout, of course, many different actresses that have starred in them as well, and it's nothing new. You know, it grows very tiresome, especially, of course, from, you know, either a customer view or, you know, through the view of a fan or whatever, right? When you see producers like Kathleen Kennedy taking that stand as if, you know, they act like it's about time that we, you know, introduce this or that, because the men have been doing what they wanted to do for so very long. And basically Kathleen Kennedy did talk about that. You know, she did say that she believes that it's about time that they really kind of take over what should have been done so very long ago, which is just not true. You know, this has been done for many, many years. I mean, there are many fun examples, like I said before, of directors and writers creating tales that include powerful female characters that serve naturally to the story, right? So again, this is exactly why I believe that the Rey movie is going to be a disaster, and why Shamreen is even worse than Kathleen Kennedy. If you guys want me to be honest and direct with you, Shamreen and Leslie Headland, alright, are way more extreme than Kathleen Kennedy ever will be. And that is a big concern for what's about to happen to George's overall life's work with Star Wars, which is already tarnished and destroyed to begin with. It seems like that they want to go beyond that. They want to go, of course, lower than rock bottom at this point. So, moving onwards, she goes on to conclude, it's a great way and a great time for women to lead this brand and the stories they create, because in turn it will inspire women to turn this brand into something else, which is our #1 goal right now. Those that are opposed to what we have been trying to establish with our next big film with Daisy, I think comes out of fear of change, and that's okay, because transitions aren't always easy for many dedicated fans or followers of a franchise as large as this one. So again, you can see that Kathleen Kennedy's being very direct and very, you know, bold at this point in time. It's all about change. It's all about focusing on this demographic strictly because that demographic got their time. That's basically what it boils down to, and how Kathleen Kennedy feels, which is just disgusting. You know, we see that she stands for that. She believes that, you know, oh, men have had their time, so now it's time for the women. And this is why I think that they have to look at things more fairly. They have to focus on a balance, right, where they focus on both men and women respectfully. And it doesn't really seem like that they do that. They say they're all about equality, well, then they spew out this nonsense about hiring strictly only female writers and directors and actresses for their upcoming Star Wars films and or television shows. That's what they want to do moving onwards. So that goes to show you how disrespectful she really is to George Lucas's philosophy. So anyway, guys, drop a comment below, fill me in below in the comments what you all have to say about this, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.